Alright guys, what is up? Welcome back to Minecraft with Lone Debater 7, and today we're going to be taking a look at how to build a better combination lock door. So as you can see, we've got this nice wall here. It's not actually enclosed because I got the circuitry behind, but there is a door here that can only be opened if the correct force buttons are pushed. If you push any of the incorrect ones, these dispensers will fire. So kind of the thought is, you know, in order to push the button, like, it's pretty easy to avoid these traps, let's be honest. So that's an incorrect button, so the arrows get fired, whatever, and it fires out of all 8 of them. That way, you know, you can't just tell which one is correct based off of what doesn't have a dispenser. I could adjust this and have it, you know, like, if I was to, you know, set everything right by the buttons as these dispensers, right? Then what I would do is maybe put pistons to move these blocks out of the way to put you into lava as well. That way you kind of have your bases covered, so either you take arrow damage by pushing the button, or you fall into lava and die. But either way, it's fine. Let's go ahead and try to open this door. So that one must have been correct. It didn't fire at us. I believe it is. Nope. That is incorrect, so that's fine. So we will try this one instead. Cool. And then on this, I believe it is this one and this one. Nope. This one. Nope. This one. Yep. So that opens the door, and then to close it, I need to build another circuit to reset all of the buttons, but you can just put a lever here, and when you pulse it like that, it'll close the door behind you. So not a big deal. But yeah, let's take a look and see how I actually built this. Because I'm sure that's what you're actually interested in. As you can see, like, it looks pretty complex. It really isn't, though. Let's just kind of go over what it does. So for all the incorrect inputs, effectively what I've done is just pass them through an OR gate. So the way the inputs work, you have your buttons on that block, it outputs to this this redstone torch is connected to the button. I pass it through an inverter block right above it. That way the state of the output is the same as the state of the button, right? Okay, so that's how I built all these these inputs rather. So that part's pretty straightforward. Then you just branch off the redstone, yada yada. So the next step, the traps are a lot easier to build than the actual open the pistons section of the system. So let's talk about that first. So for the trapped ones, on this side I've got numbers 1 and 3, nope, numbers 1 and 4 going into an OR gate, or a NOR gate rather. So bridging this over just because it can't cross any of the other lines or else it won't work. This one goes into this block, it pulses this, I have the inverter just stacked right on top of it, so the outputs match an OR gate, which then funnels into another OR gate that's linked up with the other 2 incorrect inputs, which are over here. So this one and this one go into an OR gate, did the same thing, inverter on top, and then I ran this super long chain all the way over here into this OR gate, or yeah, back into this OR gate, which then hits here, and then underneath I've got all the dispensers wired in with redstone. So that part's pretty easy to set up. That's the simplest part of this. So let's take a look at the way I'm controlling the actual code input. So this is one that triggers the code, and the circuitry is basically the same, it's just a different level so it'll all fit. But when you push the button, what it does is it comes in through here, and this is a D flip-flop gate. Or actually, rather, it's a T gate, or T switch, if I can get my terminology right. It's a T switch. So basically what happens is when this pulses, it changes the state of this output, and it holds that output in lock until another pulse is passed through. So effectively what it does is it turns this button signal into a lever signal. So I've got the 2 on this side passing into this AND gate, so both buttons have to be pushed to trigger that. Then it will go through to a secondary AND gate which links up to this AND gate, which links up the two back here. So kind of the way I did this, I started off with this T switch first, put it into the AND gate, then I went ahead and built the second one. So in order to kind of conserve space, I went ahead and built it up into the air. What I would suggest if you're going to try to do that, make sure you've got a block of space between this torch and the base, otherwise it might fuck up your signals, because torches emit power to the blocks above them. So built the same circuit here effectively, and ran it down into the AND gate. On this side, I then built this switch, connected into this AND gate, and then from this one, I built the same switch, connected into the other input. So when all four of the correct buttons are pressed, the third AND gate back here will output a signal, which then goes into two inverters, one here and one here, flipping it to turn off the pistons. So, not too difficult to build. What I will say, right? So this is a creative mode, and I wanted to be able to show you guys the circuitry. So this is not hidden as well as you would want it to be if you were playing on a multiplayer server, for example. So with that being the case, what you're going to want to do... actually, whoops. I'm just going to flip these all back. That way they're in the default state. So those are out of arrows now. I didn't actually stock them all the way with the arrows because, yeah, too much work. But it's okay. So anyway, what I was saying is, if you were going to build this in a survival world, you would want to put all of this underground. So basically, as opposed to having your door down there, you would actually want to have it maybe... so if this was ground level where these blocks are, right, you would have your door here, and you would just run the output from this AND gate to the 2 knots to pull the pistons to open it. So that's how you would do it. You also would make the wall triple thick, and the reason why you would do that is because, let's just say that was a piston, you put your 2 pistons there, and these are your door blocks. In order to hide the pistons inside and make it still maintain its wall structure, you would need to double layer it, or triple layer it rather. So that is kind of how you would go about using T-switches in order to use buttons for a combination door lock. As far as the trap goes, like, you could make it way better than this. I just, yeah, like I said, I wanted to do it just for the sake, like, you know, this works, kind of, not really. Like, if a player actually knows how to play, they won't fall for that. You could, in theory, expand out how many dispensers you have, or maybe put a line above all the inputs or something like that, so it shoots you regardless of where you're standing, and that would fix it. The problem is if I break this block here, there's a torch on top of this and below it, so I can't really place a dispenser here and output a signal without the switch firing it automatically. I originally had these 1 block higher, but I had the same problem. Pushing this button would fire the dispenser. So as far as the trap aspect goes, you know, you can kind of fuck around with that as you want. Another aspect to make this a little bit better would be maybe you don't have a trap at all, but if an incorrect button is pushed, you have all the incorrect outputs linked up to the inputs of all of the buttons to kind of like blanket or reset the cycle on the clocks, if that makes sense. And the way you would do that is you would basically build an AND gate, so only if this is outputting will it reset or something like that. But anyway, guys, that is basically how you can build a hidden combination door using buttons and dispensers, the circuitry behind it, and the application of the T-switch to make it all work. If you enjoyed the content today, be sure to like, comment, subscribe as always, and until next time, this has been Lone Debater 7, and we will see ya.